Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Mind Exhibit.
Great to be here.
So today we're going to be talking about something pretty radical. Radical and
Tubular.
in many senses of the word radical.
Mm-hmm.
Dudeology. This is a new form of study that we think is it's a very pressing matter to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
And it involves today two movies that we love and have watched many times. Surf's Up and The Big Lebowski. What do these have in common? Well, we're here to tell you. And my name is Casey, and this is the dude himself, my dad.
Hey. The dude abides.
Right. I mean, look at this guy. Boney Bear shirt. Bet some of you kids don't even know what band that is. I'm just kidding. I'm sure you all do. Without further ado, let's jump into it.
All right, Surf's Up.
Cowabunga.
Woo!
Dude.
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 Dude?
Dude.
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 See? You don't need any other words.
A dude'll do ya.
Well, first of all, before we get into any of the more fun stuff, we have to talk about the etymology behind the word dude.
We do.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I just used good old ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, what is the etymology behind the word dude?
Mm-hmm.
And so kindly the AI responded with, well, it's an argued history. We're not really quite sure where it originated from. But there's a theory that it started in the late 19th century out in the Old West. And
Really?
yeah, and so people in the Old West and the frontier would call transplants dudes.
Is that why they call them dude ranches?
Yeah, that's exactly why.
Whoa!
Yeah. So that's why people call, So that's one origination it could be. It's pretty plausible too. I mean, they were mocking these people for coming in and, it's like moving from Ohio to LA,
Right.
So there's that, and then there's also the Scottish word dude, spelled D-O-O-D, which means a fool, or what was that other word that we were just talking about?
An imbecile?
Yeah, like...
Oh, adult.
Adult.
Yeah.
A fool or adult.
Adult. Mm-hmm.
Those were the words that AI said, and...
It's not very nice.
It's not... It's not very dude of you.
It isn't.
But, so those are the two things, and it kind of evolved into describing a very fashionable young man in the early 20th century from those Scottish immigrants. So those are two possibilities. I mean, it sounds to me like it started out as something that you would mock. And I mean, it still kind of does remain something that you mock people with. You've got the surfer dudes, the skater dudes. I mean, what is a dude?
It's such a deep philosophical question. I'm so glad you asked.
I mean, come on, gotta pay off that degree somehow. This is really important stuff.
This is big stuff. I think of the origin of kind of 80s surf culture. That's where it popped up in my head. It's kind of Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, I love that movie. When he's like...
Oh, Mr. Han, what's the reason for your truancy?
Just couldn't make it on time.
Like, that's a total dude.
It's a total dude. His dream where he's just won the surf contest and he and Mick are gonna do some tasty buds.
He's like, oh yeah, man, it's that California dude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but he's good.
Yeah.
At being relaxed. He's very Tao. He's in the Tao.
Absolutely.
Can ride the wave. He's just chill.
Yeah.
But he's competent. in his own relaxed way.
Yeah.
The dude.
Competent in his own relaxed way. I really like that, actually, and that does actually provide a perfect segue into our first character analysis of Chicken Joe from Surf's Up.
Oh, one of my all-time favorites, Chicken Joe.
The ultimate dude.
Talk about in the Tao,
Right.
in the watercourse way.
Right.
Just chill.
I know. I mean, everything that he says, everything that he does, he's just such an aspirational guy. I mean, you know, he's an animated chicken, for crying out loud.
Yes.
But at the same time, I mean, when he's in the surf contest, he's just drifting on. He's looking at a cloud. He's like, oh, that cloud looks like a kitten.
Oh, it's so cute. It's got the little paw and the whiskers. Whoa.
Chicken Joe with a no paddle dropping!
He's like a stick floating in a river that hits the current, and it just goes with the current.
Yes.
You know, he's just chilling. He's just in the current.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love Chicken Joe.
Yeah, I mean, he's got so many great lines. I think he carries that film. Like,
He's the comic relief,
yeah, of course.
for sure.
Yeah.
Whoa! You gotta try this blowhole thing, man. This whale dude is giving me a brain freeze.
But, I mean, without Chicken Joe, would Cody have even made it to Pengu Island?
No, he's certainly his, you know, his Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah.
He's kind of his Jiminy Cricket, and he's almost an unegotistical Big Z, because he doesn't have any existential conflict.
How's it feel to win, Joe?
I won?
He's just Chicken Joe.
Yeah.
Big Z, you know, was at the big show. He has an existential conflict. There's no existential conflict
No.
for Chicken Joe.
He grew up in Sheboygan.
Sheboygan.
And he found a way to surf in Lake Michigan.
Right.
He didn't even need the ocean.
Right.
He just surfed because that's what he was going to do.
My name's Cody Maverick, Shiverpool. You?
No, I'm not from Shiverpool.
Where are you from?
Dude, I'm from Lake Michigan.
And then he immediately changes into like a hula skirt and a coconut bra.
Right.
And he's eating the squid on a stick. And he's like, oh yeah. You know, he's just drifting on by and having the time of his life. And he's loyal
Yep,
to the things that he loves.
he is. He is.
I can't stand sight of blood. Cody. Dude, have you seen my friend Cody?
No.
Cody? Cody! He's not under there. How's it going, man?
Yeah, he is in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, people always give you the advice to be in the now. Well, Chicken Joe.
Chicken Joe, baby. You can't get any more chill than that, though. And
No.
I think that that contrasts as well with Big Z, voiced by Jeff Bridges. You know, he starts out as, I don't know if he really starts out as a dude. I think he starts out more as an aspirational. You know, he was a rookie. He was doing really well. He was winning all the contests. He was an icon. He was out selling merch. He was doing all that stuff, hustling his gig, you know, top of his game. And then when he lost, he totally fell off, and he forgot about everything about why he loved the sport and, you know, what made him such a great surfer and such an aspirational hero to Cody.
Could have walked up to anyone. And he walks right up to me. And he gives me this awesome, one-of-a-kind Big Z necklace. And then he tells me, you know, kid, you know, never give up. Find a way, because that's what winners do.
You know, a young little guy living in the middle of nowhere with his mom, not believing in him and his older brother. He's like, oh, they're doing a movie about Cody? Can I line up now to not see it? I mean, you know.
Total bully big brother.
Right.
Total bully big brother. And of course, he's much bigger.
Yeah, of course.
So, well, and there's echoes of the dude in Big Z. It's almost a meta, you know, because we are so familiar with Jeff Bridges, because he often plays that dude essence,
Yeah.
dude essence character, because that seems to be who he is
Right.
too. Like even little I know of his real life, dude essence is permeates.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you can tell that he's not himself after he loses, he completely goes into this depressive episode, lives in a tree, doesn't even go to the beach, and...
Well, he sold out to the bird.
Mm.
I mean, let's face it, that the announcer bird character who's,
Yeah.
who's the...
Mikey.
yeah. Who's does the surf tournaments and
Yeah.
sells the merch and, he sold out to the bird.
Yeah, he
Don't
did.
sell out to the bird.
I mean, it's that Pink Floyd song, Have a Cigar.
Yeah, right.
The band is just fantastic, that is really what I think. Oh, by the way, which one's pink?
It's like, these guys aren't going to be your friend, man.
No.
Like, if you're doing something good, that's when the leeches are going to start to follow you. That's when you're going to start to feel like, oh, I can have anything I want.
Right.
And people are going to come out and give you that, but
Well, be careful, because then you become the merch.
you become the merch. That is spot on.
And Zeke had to withdraw, into, and it took Cody to kind of find that passion, that zeal again.
Right.
For surfing, for being in the wave of not just surfing, but his life.
Right.
To re-engage with his life, to be in a relationship.
Well, I think it's interesting because he didn't really seem, based on his backstory, he didn't really seem to have anyone guiding him through the process.
Mm-hmm.
He just loved surfing, and he was really good at it. And that kind of fluffed up his ego a little bit, and made him feel like winning was his guiding light. And I think it was teaching Cody how to love surfing and not love glory that was making him so grounded. Because I think that time when did he decide he wanted to teach Cody how to surf in the movie?
Yeah, they were in that hut that was way off, where one of my favorite scenes happens where Big Z is teaching Cody how to make a surfboard.
Yeah.
And they find a great tree, and he's got that wood carving.
Yeah, the shell.
The shell, and he's like long strokes.
Right.
And he kept, not letting Cody have a chance at it. He was long, so like this. Oh, you know, let me show you again. Long. So Cody's like, I got it. He gets all frustrated.
Yeah.
Of course, Cody just hacks it up.
Right.
And then it splits in half as soon as he hits the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Hey, nice ride, man.
Yeah. Exactly. But I think they kind of evolved together. They kind of evolved to get together, to the point where Cody, who was all about winning, started to understand compassion for others, in such a contrast with Tank, who was all about Tank.
The ladies. His trophies. That is such a funny scene.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Let me show you my ladies.
Tank needs fuel. A role model now.
And Tank was just all ego.
100%.
100% ego, but he was a good surfer.
But he's not. But he wasn't good enough to win, because once you become the best and you start to feel that position being threatened, that's when you start to cheat and lie, and that's what every bad guy does in the movie.
Right.
So the underdog wins. See, you shouldn't be cheating. But I mean, you got to think about it in real life. Like, you see great athletes, like, what was that one biker that started doing steroids in the Tour de France?
Oh, Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, Lance Armstrong. Like, once you're at the top of your game, and Michael Phelps, I think, too, did some steroids or something like that.
Yeah.
You get into it, and then that's all that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to find that balance because at the end of the day, you can be the best at something, but there's always going to be more after you leave your legacy behind, and you have to be okay with letting yourself be what you're going to be.
Mm-hmm. I mean, don't let the game overshadow your humanity.
Right.
And that's kind of a redefined winning at the end, to be about compassion, to be about friendship,
Yeah.
more so than winning a little trophy.
Right.
So, Tank becomes the foil for that kind of lesson, life lesson.
Yeah.
Like, no, man, it's about relationship. And you notice Tank had no relationship. The only relationship he had was with his ladies.
And his mom.
And his mom. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Put me out right on there.
Yeah. There's always mom.
Oh, of course. Well, I think Big Z's Mr. Miyagi moment was what made him realize that, I do love surfing, and I do love, people, or in this case, penguins. And then Cody, I think he really struggles with the idea of his hero not being the winner.
Yep.
And, just letting go of that idea that if he does become a great surfer, he might not be a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Those two don't have to correlate every single time.
No, and becoming a great person is, there's a Buddhist saying that when you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. And the meaning behind that seemingly pretty violent saying is you can't emulate. You have to become your own Buddha, your own awakened person. And that's your unique self. So you can't emulate, Cody can't emulate Big Z. He's got to find his own unique.
That's why they made Chicken Joe a chicken and not a penguin.
That would
because he's exactly not what everyone else is.
No.
He's just himself. He's his own species.
He's sui generis. He's one of a kind. He is one of a kind. There's one Chicken Joe from Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yep. Well, another thing too, I think, in Big Z's arc, and I think we're kind of wrapping it up here with this one, but
really, shoot. I love surf stuff.
Surf
and
stuff
the music.
Can we talk about the music?
The music.
I mean, soundtrack. I will never stop saying that. Guys, if you're going to make a movie, have a good soundtrack. It's just the best part. And also the mockumentary style of the film, too.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean, I can't imagine it being so successful if it was filmed another way.
Right.
And I think that was around the time that, like, The Office was coming out and stuff, and mockumentaries were starting to be in fashion as a form of comedy. But, I mean, it's just so cute. Like, the penguins and, like, the boom mics and the camera guys and, like, it's just so funny.
It allowed for for different kinds of dialogue to happen. So it was kind of like the audience was making the mockumentary. We accessed the scene, through the mockumentary view, which made it really kind of fun and accessible. And then the music just provided this rhythm.
Yeah.
Just this incredible beat and rhythm.
Yeah, that, and then, like, the secondary characters too. I mean, those filler characters, right? Like, Lonnie's cute, and then the kids, and like the little native penguins.
Yes.
I mean, that's what makes it feel so down to earth and like real. Like, it doesn't even matter that they're penguins. You can still see yourself in all the characters, and yeah.
Even the love interest, it's such an accessible little. I mean, and they're young. It's like a teenage love interest. It's innocent and kind of becoming,
Yeah.
And it just really works.
Yeah, it does.
Emotionally, it works, and the characters are accessible.
Totally.
And I love that they redefine winning.
Yeah.
Because it's so about surfing, and redefined.
Yeah.
At the end, Chicken Joe, of course, wins
Right.
because
he deserved to win.
He is tubular, man.
Dude. Well, and like, I think also, going off the whole Big Z thing, like, he found his inner dude. And
He got it back.
Yeah. And I think that, but I don't even think he had it before. I think that was something that, because being a dude isn't something that you're born with. I mean, sometimes it is, of course, or sometimes there's a little bit of reefer involved. But at the same time, like, I think your inner dude is that go with the flow, chill lifestyle of just doing your thing and, you know, figuring it out as you go. And I think nowadays people use the word to describe, you know, it's still the same as like the 80s, like the dude, the surfer dude, but now people just use it casually as to describe a person. And I think we can just kind of realign it with that idea of chill, because that kind of is what it is.
It's funny because to me it's one of those cultural words that sometimes race-driven words are, where if you're in the group, like if it's two surfers saying dude, it means one thing. If you're talking about someone outside of the social group, it can mean something else.
That's so true. It is really one of those, like, you can use it for so many different things. But
and it's not a swear word, because oftentimes swear word becomes those filler words,
right,
where it's full of innuendo and voice inflection.
Right.
But dude is such an innocent word.
And I think it makes sense that it started out as, like, to describe, like, a transplant, or, like, you know, I mean, I feel like a lot of the great words or not necessarily great words, but I mean just, like, the words that we can use for so many different things in different cultures and different, you know, groups and stuff. But those kinds of words always start out as these derogatory terms to describe something, and then they kind of are reclaimed and evolved, and we use them, you know, in our own ways. And that's kind of the beauty of language and culture too. Things just kind of mix together and kind of bleed through, and now it's this thing. And I really do like the idea of having it be, you know, this dudeology, the study of chill, the study of having that inner intuition just guiding you through and allowing you to succeed because you're just doing what you need to do because you love doing it.
Yeah, and you're not so self-conscious about it. Like you're able to be, you know, that person that's just at peace with who they are. Like that's dude. That's
so
dude. I am who I am, but they care about what they do in the sense that they're present to it, and that's dude.
Well, and let's segue into the dude.
The dude himself.
Besides you.
Well,
I mean, come on, you lived in California for...
Yeah, couple times.
Yeah.
But in my heart, I've lived there.
Yeah, well, you might be going back out there quite soon, right?
It is a increasingly likelihood that is so.
Well, the dude in the Big Lebowski.
A cultural icon.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy that movie came out in the 90s because it feels like it's so much older for me. Like, I remember when I first watched it and I was like, what is going on here? And, like, I didn't know it was one of those, like, you know, 90s indie films that came out of that era, but it does make sense now. But I think it's funny that, you know, Jeff Bridges, where was he at in his career at that point when he did that film? Do you know?
Yeah, he had some good films for sure. He did one with Michelle Pfeiffer and his brother. That was a big one. They were singers, kind of lounge singers.
Yep.
He's worked steadily.
Yeah.
But The Big Lebowski was a big one. And of course, it was a Coen Brothers film.
Yeah, which is another... I mean, that's so crazy to me. Like, they have such a distinct form of comedy that I don't think anyone else can really replicate. Like, it's just so Coen Brothers. And you just never know what you're going to expect.
Shout out to Minnesota, by the way.
I know, I was just going to say, please don't think that, like, my dad and I are from Minnesota, born and raised, lived here forever. This is how we talk. We're not a bank, Jerry.
We're not a bank, Jerry.
Oh, hey, Marge. Good to see you there.
Well,
You betcha.
The movie Fargo is not in Minnesota, right? I mean, there are many scenes in it, but Fargo's actually in North Dakota.
I know, but there's so many scenes on 394 and
Which
it
is
actually
terrible.
trips out my brain
I know.
every time I drive that highway every day, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's the Coen brothers hillbilly elegy.
Right.
He turns on his own people.
Yes. You're like, oh, they're up in Duluth there. We're from White Bear Lake. And like, you guys don't understand how offensive that is to my culture. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
It's
but
funny.
it is part of. I mean, the Coen brothers films are. There's almost a touch of noir.
Yeah.
It's satirical.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost making fun of itself, and I think those exaggerated accents are part of
Right.
that.
I think
It's
you're
just
right.
part of that exaggerated, kind of noirish, satirical blend
Right.
that they bring to their films.
Yeah. Another one of their films I like actually is The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It's that episodic. It just came out, I think, a few years ago
Yeah.
or something like that. Pre-COVID, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a good one. I think I really like the way that they fuse. It feels almost like Tarantino meets like Wes Anderson or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's a pastiche of.
yeah,
Mhm.
pastiche for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I think The Big Lebowski is my favorite out of all of them.
It's the vibe, man.
Ah.
It's the vibe.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
It's the dude abides.
I mean, the way that okay, so these guys come into his house, and he's sitting there. What is he doing? I think he's going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And he's just like wearing. No, he just got back from the grocery store. He bought milk. He started drinking it in the store. He's wearing flip flops. He looks like he hasn't showered in 3 weeks. He's just chilling. Like, you can smell him through the screen. You know. He walks into his house. These guys are there, and he's like. He starts getting a swirly, and he's like, "Fuck you, man!" Like, he doesn't even care. And then the only reason he's pissed off is because they stole his rug.
I don't think I've ever looked at a rug the same way.
I know.
It's this rug becomes this fetishized character in the film. It's bizarre.
Well, and the whole reason he even goes there, he's like, oh, and then when he goes in there, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's like, and this is the Big Lebowski. You know, like, he's this accomplished man with the same name as him, and it's just this duality of man.
Right.
You know?
Right. The alter ego.
Yeah.
Yeah, they split.
Oh, I know. And I love Philip Seymour Hoffman's character in that. I think he's really underrated. Like, he's one of the funniest characters.
He is.
He's just like this dwindly guy, like Tweedledum, just bopping around, like, you know, just a hacky.
Yeah. He's always great.
Yeah.
He's one of those, you know, there are no, what do they say? There are no small parts.
Only small actors.
Only small actors. I had something like that. But, you know, it's that ability to take a small part
Right.
and to just infuse it
Oh, I know.
with this concentrated character.
Speaking of which, Jesus.
Jesus.
Jesus in the bowling alley.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus.
Oh, yes.
Not Jesus, but, you know, Jesus or whatever. Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, he's just great.
Well, bowling, too, being a character.
Yeah.
The fact that bowling,
You know what's funny? You never see the dude bowl in the movie.
you know, that's right. That's right.
He's just at the bowling.
He's just at the bowling alley, drinking.
Yeah. Also, if y'all haven't had a White Russian, they are good.
They're highly caloric
They are.
and
Dad.
not good for your cholesterol.
Oh no, Dad. Oh, but come on, though. They're so good. It's like a Brandy
Oh my
Alexander.
gosh, it's like eggnog.
Eggnog. I mean, they're good for once in a while.
Yes,
But
it's like dessert.
But he drinks them. That's his drink.
Yeah.
Is it White Russian?
Yeah.
I mean, who just goes and says, I'm going to have a cup of heavy cream with coffee liqueur and add some more vodka in there. Like,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous.
Mm.
I mean, that being his signature drink. And then the way that he, like, completely disregards Bunny, too, at the beginning. Like, he doesn't even really care. Like, he's, you know, he's being a guy about it. But he doesn't really care. Like, you can tell that he would never be the kind of person to, like, go and, you know, steal someone else's woman.
No
like,
way.
He's just kind of, he's definitely not, like, a good guy.
No.
But he's also just, you know, he does the right thing most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was his friend, what's his friend's name, played by John Goodman?
Oh yeah, who was great in it?
Oh, he's so funny.
He's that angry.
I was in Vietnam. Like, that's his whole personality.
Every VFW club
At
has.
the end, when the ashes fall.
Yeah. Oh man, Goodman. He's great. Well, I think of the dude kind of as this kind of, you know, this call to adventure. Like, life just ends up happening to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so what does it mean when this dude, this kind of just chill dude, who's just kind of existing or abiding, which is such a passive word, you know, all of a sudden he's caught up in this adventure.
Right.
And how does he do the right thing? Like, how does he deal with this stuff? It's just, he's brought out of this really, really kind of static life
Yeah.
into this other world.
This dynamic, ever-changing life.
Right.
Where
right.
he has to figure out this and this and this and this, and
Mm-hmm.
he's barely scraped by.
Right.
How does he even have a house?
Who knows, man? Probably his mom left it to him in his will or something.
Probably.
You know, like, I don't think he worked for it at the video store or something.
Right? If he would work anywhere, though, I think it would probably be at a video store.
Back with Quentin Tarantino.
Right. No, dude, you don't want to watch this. You want to watch this.
But he recommends like the same movie every time.
Yeah. He's like,
You haven't seen this movie, man?
what movie would it be, too? I feel like it'd be something ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, what would it be?
I'm trying to think of something. I mean, it would be something from the 60s.
Yeah.
Like, but it wouldn't be like one of those great films. It'd be like some off-the-cuff, off-the-radar movies that like no one knows about.
Right.
That is actually really good.
Or maybe it's like Easy Rider.
Easy Rider. That would be too on the nose, though. I feel like it'd be like The Great Train Robbery or something.
Oh,
like,
there you
You know
go.
what I mean? Like something like that. Like some classic
Right.
that no one
The
talks
Great
about.
Train Robbery.
Or like, you know, the end where the guy.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Like that's the original Dude.
Yeah.
That guy at the end of The Great Train Robbery pointing
Mm-hmm.
a gun at the camera with the big mustache.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the dude that he meets at the bar.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that connection.
Is that... I was going to say something really dumb. Is that one of the Coen brothers? It's definitely not.
No.
No.
I'm not aware that the Coen brothers
They don't really act.
do the Hitchcock thing where they put themselves,
Yeah.
or Quentin did the same
Yeah.
thing. They kind of put themselves in the movie in some little part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, no, I like that guy, too. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
dude,
Yeah.
have a good night, dude.
So why do you think the Dude hit such a cultural moment? Like, what about
man.
the film captured?
Well, first of all, coming straight out of the 80s into the 90s, into this indie film revolution, where all of a sudden people were starting to make these great movies again, with these A-list actors like Jeff Bridges and John Goodman and Steve Buscemi and stuff, and these auteurs were coming out with these movies. And I think that the Dude kind of represented the way that a lot of people felt in that time. You know, if you weren't super successful in the 80s and, you know, you didn't have a lot of money, you probably felt like you were drifting along. And I feel like a lot of people now feel very similar to that. You know, things are really difficult. You know, it's hard to make a living. It's hard to beat a class if you're stuck at the bottom or stuck in the middle. I mean, it's really hard to excel without sacrificing some things that would really change your life. And I think people just want to be more like the Dude. And they want to be able to just... I don't think people don't want to work, but I think that people enjoy the idea of just being able to be themselves without any consequences, and to just kind of be thrown around in life and just be able to figure things out as they go without having to answer to anyone about who you are. I mean, you know, he found a way to get his rug back.
He did.
And,
he did.
And he found a way to make the deal, and, you know...
That's what I mean about competency.
Right.
Like dudes, true dudes, yeah, they're chill, yeah, they're laid back. There's a kind of asymmetrical competency.
Totally.
The dude gets it done. He got his rug back.
That's all he cared about.
Yeah.
He could have had anything.
Right.
And I feel like he was the reason that everything worked out in the end. And I think the whole relationship with Maud is kind of funny too. The daughter-in-law or whatever.
Yes.
I mean, she's ridiculous. She's kind of the female dude in a way. But also not really.
Who was floating in the pool again? Is that Bridget Fonda?
Oh God, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, like that is kind of a dude vibe, but it's not that shallow. It goes so much deeper than that, I think. I mean, because you could say that any guy relaxing on a summer day, walking around, is a dude, but it's not like that. I mean, the dude he calls himself the dude because he's chosen that lifestyle of go with the flow and, you know, the asymmetrical competency kind of thing. He's gonna make what he needs to make happen the way that he would make it happen. Not by the way someone else would tell him to do it, but the way that he wants to. Right.
Well, and putting the before the dude
Right.
is really a very non-dude ambitious thing to say. He's not a dude, he's the dude.
And he's so adamant that people call him that.
Right.
He does not want to be called Mr. Lebowski. He is the dude,
The
man.
dude.
Because that's who he wants to be. I feel like maybe he snapped one day and he just said, fuck this, I'm doing my thing. I am the dude now.
I'm now the dude.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to know his lore. He's got to have some deep lore.
Well, and what did that mean to him when he proclaims himself the dude? Like he probably didn't mean, something negative necessarily, right? But there was something infused in that term for him,
right,
that was aspirational to the kind of vibe and the kind of the wave he wanted to ride, man.
I know. I mean, he could have called himself Chad or anything, but he became a concept, and he drove with that. And I mean, it really does suit Jeff Bridges too as an actor.
I mean, it's a bit typecasting because Jeff Bridges is the dude. He just is.
He's just the dude.
Yeah, yeah. And he grew up in Hollywood. His dad, Lloyd, did a lot of westerns. He was part of that whole scene, and he's so Californian in the way he's almost look up California in the dictionary, and
there's
Jeff Bridges. Like he's quintessential.
Yeah.
At least how we think of that vibe and that kind of philosophy of life. And Jeff Bridges has done really, really well. Yeah. He's worked really, really hard, but
he's done it in his way.
And I don't think he broke a sweat. Like
exactly.
Just like,
and that's the key.
That's the key.
How does one embody the dude in their own life without, being a leech on the social?
Yeah, dudes are not leeches.
Right.
Dudes are self-sufficient, right? Dudes are they're not looking for handouts. That's not dudeish, right?
Right.
The dude is self-sufficient. The dude takes care of himself, right? And there's a kind of ethic, kind of values that go with that. And dudes don't cross those lines. That's not dudeish, right? To cross those ethical lines. You stay right there in the line, in between the lines, man. Right in between the lines. But you got to be chill in those lines, right?
Yeah.
You know,
You gotta surf those lines.
you got to
man.
surf those lines. Stay in the tube, man.
Yeah.
Stay in the wave.
Stay in the
Stay in the
yeah.
pocket.
Be the wave.
Be the wave.
Long, smooth,
Exactly.
slow.
Exactly. Not choppy and all like broken up. You know, the dude's riding long waves.
And I think that's another thing about just the idea of being cool.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I don't want to go too deep into this, but you know, just to be a dude is to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
To be a dude is to be cool, not because you think you're cool or not because you're trying to be cool, but because you are cool on the inside, man.
Yeah. So there's I forget the character's name in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and he's
Spicoli.
no the guy that would scalp the concert tickets.
Oh yeah.
So he gives such great advice to this little guy, you know, his
Yeah.
little friend who works at the movie theater, and you know and the guy is really uncool himself. But he does kind of embody his own advice, which is when you walk into a room, like you got to give the vibe that this is the place to be. Wherever you are is the coolest, most chill place to be. Like,
That is so true.
I'm 100% content wherever I am, and that's dudishness.
And it's funny because that character does not embody dude at all.
He does not. He is not at all.
He's the opposite of dude, actually, if you ask me.
He is, and that, you know, that facade was not genuine dudeness. You know, he read the book, but he didn't live it out himself. And the trouble he gets in that movie is reflective of the fact when his facade is broken apart, we see he is not a dude.
Right.
He knows the words, he knows what, you know, but that's just the affectation. True dudeness knows values.
Damn.
You abide in the values.
Well, and I think too, like, in The Big Lebowski, the dude, when he's sitting in the bowling alley and taking up space, and he's pissed at his friends, he's not compensating for his emotions. He is just being honest. And I think it has to be this there's like a film that you have to, you know, delete so that you can emulate that true authenticity in your daily persona and really not think about how someone else is going to perceive you, and to just truly not care what people think. I mean, to understand that what people think matters to an extent, but also that at the end of the day, you're going to figure it out anyways because you are a dude.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. The dude is not self-conscious because they're not thinking about what other people think because they know who they are, they know what their values are, and the dude doesn't need other people's judgments bumming him out. You know, like,
Exactly. So I think to wrap it up, we need to come up with a list of 10 dudisms, the 10 dudisms of Dudeology, based off of our characters, Chicken Joe, Big Z, the dude,
the dude himself.
and, you know, maybe Spicoli a little bit. A surprise addition to the team. Welcome, Spicoli.
Right.
He made it on time.
He did. I mean, look at the evolution of Sean Penn from Spicoli. But he does hit a lot of the dots, you know, a lot of the boxes, or checks a lot of the boxes, because there's a kind of competence in Spicoli that gets reflected, and there's a kind of genuineness and a sense of values when Mr. Hand comes to visit him.
I love Mr. Hand.
Mr. Hand is awesome, you know, and he says, you know, you took up my time, and I'm going to take up your time.
Right.
And Spicoli like pulls this understanding of history like out of nowhere in his own Spicoli-ish way.
Yeah.
But there's a kind of unique competence that comes through, and that's dudeness. That's
Totally.
dudesness.
So, number one dudism of Dudeology's got to be that competence. And not competence like you're so good at something. I mean, you can be really good at something if you work hard at it. That doesn't have to come from dudeness, but to know what you want, to know what you need, and to just go for it.
Yeah, and to just, because you're present to the thing, like you are in relation to that thing.
Yeah.
You're present,
Yeah.
and the confidence comes from that.
Yep.
Not a lot of affectation and superfluous thought.
Totally. Number 2, I think tell the truth.
Totally. Dudes don't lie. Those dudes don't need to lie.
Lying is lame,
Lying
man.
is so lame. So lame. But that means you're worried about other people's, what they're thinking. Dudes don't worry about what other people think.
And also that means that whatever you were doing was not due enough to own up to it.
Bang. Mic drop.
Number 3, it's gotta be ride that wave, man.
Ride the wave. Ride the wave. Always be in the pocket.
Yep.
And and if you wipe out, Chicken Joe it. Just
Drop
lean back.
back in.
Drop back in. lean on the board, man, and another wave's coming. Get in.
Yep.
Carve it up.
Totally. Number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Number 4. Help me out here, Dad.
To do this.
Yeah.
Boy, number 4. We can't get to 10. We're gonna get to 10.
I think we're gonna try to just. You know what? Let's cap it off there.
Yeah.
Let's just be dude about it.
The dude doesn't over-explain.
I don't know why I thought 10 would be like easy. Fill it out.
There's 10 in there somewhere.
I mean, yeah, but competence, honesty, ride that wave.
Yeah.
I think that's the treat. Hey, comes in 3 just like waves.
There you go, man.
It's gonna be a loud noise.
Is it? Oh.
That's okay. But yeah, I think that's the framework that really drives those characters. And I think those things are applicable. I think that's why these films work so well and have stood the test of time. I mean, I think The Big Lebowski came out in 1991.
Is that right?
I think so. I'd have to double check, and then...
So one of the other elements I think about, is true dudes are always their unique self.
Yeah.
Like I think about another Minnesotan, Robert Zimmerman, a.k.a.
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, who, would never be accused of being the world's best singer, but has been one of the most iconic music people, and there's something about the fact that his voice is his voice, and his voice has gone through many different machinations throughout his 50-year career.
Totally.
But it's the genuineness of his music and his words and the emotion that he connects with. That's dudeness.
Totally. And I also love how he hates it when people analyze his lyrics.
Right.
And he's got some of the best lyrics out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just Blood on the Tracks is one of the best albums of all time, for sure. I mean, and he was writing music because he needed to, and because he had things to say, and he wrote great lyrics. But if you analyze them, you're missing the point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can all agree that at a certain point there is a death to the author, and art does not belong to the creator anymore. But I think that at the same time, he didn't not want that to be true. I think he just wanted people to just listen.
Yeah. Let it wash over him.
Yeah, just stop thinking about it so much.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be thinking about everything all the time.
Right. Yeah, and he was accused in the early days of really just copying Woody Guthrie and others from that folk genre. And then, of course, he was so good at it, and then when he went electric, it became just this horrible, breach of confidence of that whole folk scene. But that's just a person, who's on their path.
Yeah.
Who's learning from the people around them and the times around them, and they continue to evolve and and just speak their truth and don't worry what other people think.
Right.
That's true dudeness.
He's just a dude.
Yeah. Way to be, Bob.
Hey, Bob. Yeah. Well, Dad, this has truly been a fruitful Dudeology conversation.
It's been totally dudacious to me.
Dudacious. I don't know if I could talk about this with anyone else besides my dude. I mean, my dad.
Dude dad.
Dude dad. But honestly, dude counter. But
always stay in touch with your inner dude. We all have one.
we
Right?
do.
Right? It's the snowflake.
Yeah.
Right?
She's in there, man.
She's in there, man. Catch it on your tongue.
Where is it?
On your nose.
You're just a precious little snowflake. Precious.
Precious.
Well, that about wraps it up for today, unfortunately. And I really want to thank you all for taking some time out of your day, your week, your life to listen to this podcast from the Mind Exhibit. Movie Monday.
Movie Monday.
Movie Monday.
Two great ones. And, you know, find and be in touch with your inner dude. The dude abides.
The dude abides.
Take it easy, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I know that you will.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.